We're going to move on to Katrina Arden, Blockchain Law Group. Katrina, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you.
I'm glad you're here. All right. I understand from Ed, who's been just pounding the table, I've got to get this person on the show. He says he chased you all over the world, probably 2 or 3 times, trying to get you on the show because you are in demand all over the place. Give us some background on what you do in the blockchain sector, and then I definitely want to get into some of the questions I have about you security, not security for tokens and things of that nature, because I just happen to be dealing with some kind of a conversation about that right now myself. But please, let me back up. Tell us about yourself, and we'll move forward.
Sure. I'm an attorney in the United States, and I'm a founder of Blockchain Law Group. It's a group of legal practices comprising of the attorneys who are licensed in different jurisdictions. I speak at different conferences, and I work with many different startups and established companies who are interested in implementing blockchain technology and kind of like raising funds or maybe selling their product through this process that is called ICO. This process evolved a lot from the time when it started a couple of years ago, and we see more and more regulations coming from the U.S. authorities and the authorities of other countries where the market participants are warned of different legal violations that are happening right now and all the risks that are associated with the cryptocurrency investments, especially if they are, if we see more and more different fraudulent activities happening in this market, which is very sad because blockchain as a technology, it's a fantastic technology, and but unfortunately it's not used correctly by multiple companies. That's why there are more investors who are losing money and who are trying to go with this hype and invest the money that they have in different cryptocurrencies, including tokens. And unfortunately, some of them are securities, some of them are complete out scams. And
let me jump in there. Let me jump in there. Let me jump in there with you for a second here.
Sure.
Okay. Right way versus wrong way on blockchain, and then also when it is a security and when it is not a security on a cryptocurrency. But let's start with the blockchain question.
Okay. Right and wrong way is you can be a legitimate business and you can use the blockchain to advance your company, your business, and create new products, and that's wonderful. But we see more and more that some companies, especially those companies in the public sector, they're claiming, all right, we're going to use blockchain technology, and that's all just to basically raise the price of their stock. We've seen that happening.
Okay.
And for instance, if we're talking just about the technology.
Okay.
And then to the second question, security versus utilities. At the beginning, when people started selling tokens and raising funds, everyone was thinking that it is an unregulated industry, so why don't we just issue some sort of instruments, digital instruments, we can call them tokens. People will give us money, we'll take those monies, we'll do whatever we can, and whatever we promise or not promise or whatever, and then hopefully whatever the benefit was behind those tokens, people can get, or maybe they will never get. So that is securities. And a lot of companies were promising some sort of a profit, and right now, still, despite so many publications and statements made by the SEC and other authorities, there are still companies out there that are claiming that their tokens are going to go up in value, go and buy our tokens, and all of it is done without any registration or any notification to the according to the law. So that is, if we talk about securities, anything what investors buy in the anticipation of profit. However, there are still some small number of utility tokens, but utility tokens are very different. There is no interest for investors, like public main investors, if you think of it, because they don't offer any profit. Those utility tokens are straight products where you buy it as an internal currency that you can use within the platform to perform certain actions. but there is no expectation of a profit. The company is not promising anything of that. So you're buying a utility, something that has a utility, something that provides you with a benefit. But if you are not interested in that product as a buyer, let's say it can be some sort of information sharing platform.
Or let me give you a real life hint.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that
Sure.
people are trading points that they intend or tokens that they intend to trade in for, say, a washer or dryer or something of that nature. But there's a limited amount that is being issued, so the supply demand can take over, and they may have. I bought it so I can trade airline points or vacations or what have you, but there's always the possibility that the value could go up. So it's hard to be into the investor's mind, or is it just coming from the people that are issuing the tokens? Hey, it's utility, it's for trading for goods and services, but if it happens to increase in value, then that's just the way it goes. How do you stay out of the being in trouble that you started out as a utility token and it ended up being an appreciable value?
Well, I'd say it's both. So it depends on the company itself and also what expectations people have when they buy it. So if you look at the case of Munchie, for instance, that is more applicable here because we see the actual enforcement cease and desist letter that was issued by the SEC in the case of Munchie, and the token was MUN, MUN token. And I believe it was in December, where the company Munchie, it's a restaurant rating app. It is a utility token if you look at the actual token, at the token model. So it did not offer direct profit. However, when the company was selling this token, it was suggesting something the same as you were saying. Well, it is a demand and supply, very limited number of tokens we're going to issue. And you should expect the value of the token go up. Because of that, we are going to create the ecosystem where you as the holders will benefit from this ecosystem. And then your tokens are going to go up in value, come and invest, come and buy. You know, in the same time, those tokens were supposed to be used within that rating app to buy specific products or use it as the internal currency. So the SEC found is that the company itself was behind the creation of the value. So the company was to create the ecosystem. The company was to support the demand for the token. So they found a significant effort of the company in the potential growth of the token value. There would be no growth of the token value if the company didn't put the significant efforts in it. And the SEC determined that those efforts of the company, they led to anticipation of the profit from the public.
Got it.
And
Katrina,
basically passing the Howey test.
We need to take a break right now, but we can pick right up where we left off on the other side, all right?
Sure.
All right, we'll be right back with Katrina Arden, blockchainlawgroup.com. We'll be right back. CEO Money. Don't forget, we're going to TV soon, so you'll be finding that on our website. Segment brought to you by thevitaminpatch.com. All right, welcome back to CEO Money. I'm Michael Yorba. We're talking with Katrina Arden, Blockchain Law Group. Katrina, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Michael.
All right. Ed informed me over the break that there are probably 5 people worldwide that have the expertise that you have in this part of the law. So he was, very adamant about that. When we left off, we're trying to separate tokens from utility versus security on the token side. Now, I want to give you a chance to finish that because we kind of had to go to a break real quick. But please bring that back.
Sure. Before the break, we were talking about securities and utilities and how to distinguish them. Basically, the main thing that everyone should look at, is there any offer of profit? It can be direct profit that is built into a token model, or it can be an indirect profit that basically people can anticipate from the growth of the token's value. And that would make it a security. There are some other things that could make a token a security, and as just the SEC representative said on many occasions, that not every token is a security. However, most of them are, because everyone is when selling tokens, they're targeting investors. So why would you buy being an investor in the market, why would you buy a token that doesn't give you any financial benefit? You probably wouldn't. That's why those ICOs, they're mainly targeting investors, and they're offering some sort of a profit in one way or another, and they are securities. And it's not that bad as long as those securities are registered with the SEC or they fall under one of the exemptions. And there are quite a few that the company can select. And as long as they comply with those exemptions, the tokens would be okay from the standpoint of selling those tokens. There are some restrictions on those, like for instance, restrictions on reselling those tokens on the secondary market. And that is another topic. But still, there are some utility tokens. They're not so attractive to the investors, though, because all of it, like you only buy what you actually need, and you buy it for the purpose of using it and not for the purpose of making money. So you're probably not an investor in that case. You're a consumer, and that's the difference.
Okay.
But there are a few projects like that as well.
Katrina, this is Ed Baxter. First of all, again, thank you for joining us. And I know I kind of pounded you a little bit, so I appreciate you being patient enough to finally get here with us. So thank you very much for that. You mentioned something interesting about the token side and about tokens in general. When you think of the majority of them being securities that you said, do you foresee a time when tokens will have a CUSIP number and essentially be traded like securities?
Yes, I do. And I know that right now there are few companies that are working on a solution for that. They're working to create an exchange, digital exchange that would be suitable for trading securities. That exchange would have to be licensed with the SEC, and it has to comply with a lot of regulations established by the SEC for the existing trading platforms. It might be a little bit, if you read those requirements, it might be a little bit difficult to imagine how you can make the crypto exchange to comply with those. But I'm sure, and the SEC also on many occasions, they basically stated that they're willing to work with those companies and come up with some sort of a conclusion where, they're okay to license some sort of a platform like that. It's just a matter of time, I believe. It might happen later this year. It might happen next year or in 2020. But when one of or two or three of those platforms would be created and licensed with the SEC, that would make a lot of companies just comply with the law and actually issue the securities tokens. And that would be a separate class of securities that would be tradable and separate class of investments.
Katrina, I hate to say this, but we've got to go for now. But I want to extend an invitation for you to come back because we're going to need your expertise over and over and over again as this entire industry sector evolves.
Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome. Katrina Arden, blockchainlawgroup.com. You've been listening to CEO Money with Michael Yorba and Ed Baxter. Don't forget, podcasts everywhere. We're prolific on social media. And go to our website, WFN.com, because we are moving to TV as fast as we can possibly move. We'll start posting those videos up this week. Thanks for being our guest.